everybody, it's Jenelle from Pieces to Treasure, and I'm going to talk to you today about fringing fabric. Now, in this instance, I'm using some of the cotton slubs from my Panache range. Now, you can see on these fabrics, you can see how the weave changes thickness on them like that, and it gives them a lovely texture, and they're beautiful to sew with, and they're 100% cotton. Little thicker, little heavier weight than your standard patchwork fabric, but they add beautiful texture to your projects. Nice and soft, lovely soft hand. Now these fabrics also come in planes, so there's 3 planes here. You've got the black, the off-white that I'm using today, and this one here, which is black weft threads and off-white warp threads. You can see the different colours, but it gives you a nice grey colour. Then also in the cotton slubs, we have these ones printed with these beautiful blousy roses, oh, excuse me, in the red, black, and the 3 colours there. And also in an iCat spot. So we've got the black with a white spot, white with a black spot, and red with a white spot. Excuse my voice, it's a little bushfirey here today, a bit smoky. So when I'm talking about fringing, we're talking about this kind of thing. On this runner from my Christmas with Panache book, I've put this little trim on, and it's made from this off-white cotton slub fabric, and you can see the edges are frayed along the edge of that little ruffle. Here's another project from Christmas with Panache, and I've inserted some of that cotton slub fabric in here as the trim around the applique panel, and it's frayed on the edge. And then I've also got this, another one from Christmas with Panache, and you can see I've used the fringing on the edge. All of these are made with this off-white cotton slub fabric. And the trick is to make sure that your fringing is even along the edge. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. So I've just cut a width of fabric like that and cut the length off that I need. Now, it's always a good idea to cut a little bit more than you need, because you can always cut it smaller. You can't add it on. Now, I want to remove the selvage, because when you start fraying, the selvage is a bit tough and gets in the way. So I'm just going to cut off the selvage like that. And this is probably wider than I need, so I'm going to trim it down to be about 3 inches wide, and there'll be some more trimming later. So there's my piece that I'm starting with. Now, when you're fraying things, when you're fraying them, all you're going to do is remove the threads running in one direction. And you probably did this activity when you were a child, and it's actually kind of nice therapy. And I just like to use a pin to get at that thread and pull it out. So it's something you can do sitting in front of the TV watching a movie, and the threads just pull out like that. Work your way down. Use a nice strong pin to pull those threads out like that. Now you can see already, as I'm trimming this, that up this end of the fabric, I've got, I don't know, not quite ½ an inch, but down this end, we've got about 1/8 of an inch of fringing. So it hasn't frayed evenly. Now that is because my initial cut was not exactly on the grain. Now it doesn't matter how, you can be really careful and you can still have this happen to you. So this is why I like to cut my piece wider than I need, because then I can trim it up to be straight. So if we look at this one, I've got about 1/4 of an inch of fringing here past the weave, but up this end, I've got about 5/8 of an inch, and that's not going to look very nice on your project. So once I've fringed that amount, now is the time to straighten up this raw edge here to be parallel to this weave line here in the fabric. So you fringe a little bit like that. Then I put my ruler on, and I'm going to use the 1/4 inch mark on my ruler, and I'm lining it up with where the weave is in the fabric. So this line down here where my thumbnail is. So my 1/4 inch mark is on there, and I'm lining it up all the way down. Sometimes you need to tweak it just a smidgen. There we are. It's lined up. The 1/4 inch mark is on there, and I'm going to trim this bit of fraying like that. Now you can see I've got a much more even length of fringing, and that gives me a nice finish with nice even edges, and so I can fringe away happily until I get the amount of fraying that I want for my particular project. See how that fringing is the same width all the way along? That's exactly what you want. Now, if I was fringing both sides, like I have with this frill on the table runner, or on one of the pillows with the fringing around the edge, this is now my grain line. So I can then use that. Let's imagine we want a 2-inch wide piece. I'm lining up off my fraying, which I know is straight. Cut it off, and then I can start work on the other side. Now, because of the nature of the fabric, it's not perfect all the way down because you've got threads, some are thicker than others and that sort of thing. But it's pretty close, and using a fabric like this, it does have that lovely raw rustic kind of feel, and that's why you're using it, because you like it. So that is how you fringe fabric, and you can fringe, make it as long as you like. I use this in toweling too. If you've seen my toweling throws where I fringe the edges, exactly the same procedure. Have a little go, fringe a bit, trim it up straight, and then fringe for as long as you want. So that's the technique for fringing. Make a cute bookmark, wouldn't it? For fringing your fabric and getting nice even length of fringing down each side of your piece of fabric. Hope that helps. Happy sewing, everybody. Bye.